live, man. We live. What's up, man? How you
What's
doing?
up? What's up?
Nice to have you in here, man.
Always a pleasure, man.
So you real big into martial arts. You really, really big into martial arts. So one of the first things that I was going to ask you was how'd you get into martial arts?
Yeah, man. It's a long one, man. But to be honest, like I've always wanted to protect my loved ones, so that was always a huge thing for me. Growing up in an abusive home, not being able to do anything as a child, I wanted to get stronger because of that, and I wanted to be able to, protect myself and protect my loved ones. So, like a huge way to do that was to get into martial arts. So I just delved deep into it and I immersed myself into it when I was younger. And it took a wrong turn at first, man. I'm not gonna lie, because I was young, and you know what I mean. Yeah, so
you picked up on a lot of things, and it was just like
yeah, man, and like my home style too, man. Like growing up, like being in that abusive like environment, I was always really sketchy of everyone, to be honest, and like I didn't really like deal with people well. I was always very protective of like who was around me, and it backfired on me, man, because like I got into a lot of fights and a lot of trouble, almost to the point where like growing up in high school and stuff like that, like I was never invited to the house parties, bro, because like because I was for sure it was for sure yeah, it was for sure gonna go down, and like that was like I like for no clout or nothing, bro, like that's really how it was, like and the friend group that I kept were the exact same, bro. So like it was like I was almost like setting myself up for disaster, like, you know what I mean? Because
did you when you first started going to school, was that a kind of thing that you gravitated towards, or it found you?
yeah, you know what? Like, I love my sister to death, but she set me up a lot of the times, man. Cause like it would be like, oh, my brother can like whoop your ass, all this other shit, and she'd be talking to a senior, and I'd be just coming in fresh, like freshman.
Oh,
So
no.
yeah, so like I've had my fair share of like, you know what I mean, jumping into a fight where I had no idea, but like it was my sister, so I was down. So she's one of the few people that's like is on site for, like, you know what I mean, and like especially like because she was with me in that abusive household, so she experienced like that same trauma, you know what I mean. So her growing up, I guess she took it in a way where when I did get stronger, she had somebody to like call on.
Protect her
Yeah,
and
she had.
just yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
So
would you say like that was like her way of handling the situation that you was in as well?
yeah, definitely, man, because she was looking up to me kind of, and it was weird because she's my older sister. She's older by 2 years, and I've always looked up to her, and she went a completely different route than me, like growing up. But she was always looking up to me, like, and like looking for me to, you know, I guess solve her problems and stuff like that. But you know, I've always looked up into her because she like was always like super focused in school, and like she was really she excelled in those ways where I didn't. Like I was like more street smart than like her, and she was like more book smart, you know what I mean? So she took it that and just like ran with it. But she was working when she got her first job, like when you can get a first job. I think it's like young, like you know what I mean, like you know what I mean. It's like young, but like she got her first job, she saved money, bro, and she wanted to get out the house so bad because like at the time like she wasn't really vibing with my dad, and like to be honest, like to bring it up, like my dad saved us from that situation, bro. Like my mom dated some sketchy ass motherfuckers, man. Like to be honest, like I'm sorry if I'm cursing, bro. Like it's all right. I'm trying to be as most authentic as I can be, man. But at the same time, respect your space. But nah, man. Like she dated some sketchy people, and I had to deal with that a lot of the time. But my dad, he got custody of us, and it was all good from there because like I went from powdered milk Werfel shit to like eating like middle class like chicken nuggets, bro, like you know what I mean, like animal style, like you know what I mean, like who, like what? And then they asked me if I wanted a brownie afterwards, you know what I mean, like brownie afterwards. Like I used to hide shit in my room, bro. My stepmom Dorothy used to come in my room like, why are you hiding snacks? Like,
Yo, sometimes it be like that, man. Like, for real.
bro, like I
When you don't got it like that,
yeah
sometimes you gotta have a little
yeah
stash.
man, so like circling back, like I've always wanted to protect the ones that I love, because like I've seen at a time when I couldn't, you know what I mean. I would see my mom; she would get beat, dude. Like, I mean, like, you know, my stepdad would break her toes and fingers and shit like that. Real traumatic shit, and I couldn't do nothing about it, but like smack a grown man's back. And when you're like, you know what I mean, 7 years old, like that's not gonna affect like a grown ass man, like, you know what I mean.
Ultimately, does it like put you in a position where you feel like ultimately like powerless? So
Yeah, absolutely, man. And like seeing that, like all you could really do when you're young is like cry and like make sure that you were on your P's and Q's. So it was in like some of my music and stuff, but like I always kept a backpack. Like I slept in my clothes, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like had shoes ready to go. Like always, like so that I can like hop out the window and meet my sister at the bus stop and shit. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
like another thing that I wanted to ask you with that being
yeah.
said, does a lot of those like behaviors and stuff like transitional like now?
Bruh, it's funny. Like she's laughing. Like that's like, bruh. I really.
Yeah, we got
Oh,
Dan's girlfriend hiding on the side. Over here,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
You know, she's over here. She's gonna be on here next.
Yeah.
Man.
So it's funny, man. I still hold true to some of that stuff, man. Like I sleep in my clothes. I feel uncomfortable. I feel like I'm not ready if I'm like in my drawers. Like, you know what I mean? Like I feel like I can't get up if there's a fire and like really try and get everybody out.
So you don't like that feeling of not being prepared?
Hell no, man. And that
no matter what it is.
dead ass, yeah. And like I've never gotten diagnosed and stuff, but you know, Cece was like, you know, you might have PTSD. Like that might have affected you to the point where, you know, you've experienced that trauma in a way that it affects you today, and like you have flashbacks and stuff. So that being said, like I wanted to be able to, you know, be perverse in a lot of different martial arts. So I tried a lot of different things, and I try to find, you know, my outlet in that. And I excelled in some, and then in some, like I was also struggling with my own mental health. So like I would start things, a lot of different projects. Like I'm a musician, man. So like I start like songs, bro. I got like fucking hundreds of unfinished songs, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
Yo,
like
you know who that sound like?
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all know who Professor Kalinda is from Jimmy Neutron.
Yeah.
My man is mad smart. He's always started something but couldn't finish.
Yo, that's like me to a T, man. Cause like I'll do that. Like I don't know, man. Like I'll have like these manic phases where like I'll be ready to take on the world, man. I'll get like 3 jobs. You know what I mean? I'll like write 10 songs that I think is the next hit, you know what I mean? And I'll send it to like everyone that I know, like, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, oh, check this out. But then I'll analyze it, and I'll sit in a room for hours analyzing these songs and like these projects that I'm doing, and I'm like, it's not right yet. Like, you know what I mean? It's got to be perfect.
So with that thinking process, is that certain times how you just end up jumping to another thing?
Yeah, man. Because my mind, it'll be like, you know what, this isn't the way that I want it to. This didn't come out the way that I wanted to, so I'm gonna scratch this and I'm gonna start something new. Like, you know what I mean? So I'll go like skate. You know what I mean? Like I'll go like, you know what I mean? I'll go from like rapping, hip hop to like skateboarding. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'll go like I don't know, man. Like I'll just go like take swimming lessons and stuff. Nah.
Aquatics classes.
Yeah, aquatics. Like yeah, boxing, like everything. So like yeah, I would just try different things, man. And like in terms of martial arts, like I went from kung fu, traditional style kung fu, Shaolin kung fu, straight boxing, MMA, jiu-jitsu.
Do you know what was the first form that you actually started?
Yeah, kung fu. Yeah,
kung fu?
yeah,
like the very first one?
Yeah, man. It was we were going. Me and my sister and my dad actually took it together, bro. Because like he was like, he seen me like having problems in school and stuff, and I was getting into a lot of fights and whatnot. And he was like, you know, I think what would help you is martial arts. And like, my dad was always very like, he wasn't very like loving, like, you know what I mean? Like he wasn't like. He didn't show me that much love, but like
so
he was.
You had like a stoic kind of.
Yeah, but like the way that my dad helped was financially, bro. Because like, you know, when I was with my mom like scraped up to like help us out, like, you know what I mean, make sure we had food. But like my dad always had it like that, so like when he was like, oh, like maybe martial arts. So like he put me in school. Like so like me, my dad, and my sister were taking martial arts together, and that's like $2,000, bro. Like you know what I mean? Like that's a lot of money.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and like I didn't.
Expensive.
Yeah, bro. And when I was younger, bro, I didn't realize that either till I started getting older. Like, and I started taking classes by myself, and it's coming out of my pocket. And I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, we're doing this. Yeah, we're doing this together. Like, oh, damn, that must have been a brick. You know what I mean? Like, so, anyways, so he was like, you know, I'll take you guys to martial arts. And you know, my sister was always like, she was on it, man, because like she was like a tomboy at the time, and she still is, but like she had her phases and stuff, but she wanted to be strong, and I think it was because of the same reasons. You know, I can't really speak for her, but I think it was like because of the same reasons we were in that situation where we did feel helpless. So we go to this academy, and it was called the Academy of Phoenix Martial Arts, and we go there, and there's this like badass kung fu master, bro. Like, his name was Leon Trescott, and I still respect him to this day, man.
What nationality was he? I'm not even gonna lie.
He was black.
Kung Fu master.
he was black. He was black, bro. Like I don't
what was
like
his name again?
Leon Trescott.
Leon?
Yeah, Leon Trescott.
That sounds it's real close to Bruce Lee.
Yo, bro, dead ass, but like he was good.
Did he have an afro?
Nah. He kept it low cut.
I was about to say, man.
Yeah, he like he called it facts. Like called it facts. Shut it down, man. Shut it down. Next episode. Nah. But he was amazing, man, and like we looked up to him, and he taught us, and you know we grew together as a school, and it was like great. And we went out to like Atlantic City, and you know we would run on the beaches and whatnot, man, and it was like real cool. We would like train and do martial arts on the rooftops and stuff, you know what I mean, at the hotels. Yeah, like all with the school, and like, you know, our master, and like at the time, and you know, it was me, my dad, and my sister, bro, and it was really life changing, because it was like that was like a turning point in my life, because I was like, this is like what a family's supposed to be like, you know what I mean, like you're like this togetherness, like, you know, it's like you have each other's backs, and like we're all doing something that we love to do, you know. Yeah. So it was like I felt comfortable, and in that comfort I became complacent, man. And like when I started getting older, I started using that towards evil, bro. Like I started like using my skill set to, you know, beat people out on the streets and whatnot, man, and like just like real negative stuff. And it started to affect me, man, because it was affecting my values, because I didn't really believe in that, like, you know what I mean, like I didn't believe I was that kind of person, and I was doing that, and it was causing me to experience like a void, because I was like, man, like what am I really doing right now, like, you know what I mean, I'm hanging out with these people that aren't really good for me, you know what I mean, and like I want to change in my life, and all of my life I wanted to be a hero, you know what I mean, and now I'm like, damn, I'm a villain, like, you know what I mean, I was like, for real, like I was like, damn, like I need to get my shit together. And there was always that going back and forth between like, oh, nah, I gotta get my shit together, and like, but like, yeah, and it's just like I'm always like gonna go embrace this. So it was hard for me, man. I struggled a lot, you know, and
I feel as though it's extremely hard. We talked about this all the time. Where,
yeah.
You know, you can have years of built up bad behavior, and then after that, you start to realize, you start to become like, I don't know, self-aware of what's going on. But then after that, it's your behavior, it's what you know. It's
right.
Like, it's your homeostasis. So it's just
right,
like,
bro.
Even though you're aware that you want to change and this is not good for you, it's easy to just go back because it's what you know.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. I think like having the awareness too, man, like that was like something that was a turning point in my life too, man, because like when I started to really realize that I'm like, oh wow, like these habits are really doing bad for me, like, you know what I mean, like I'm really going down a horrible path right now, because when you're in it, man, you're blind to that shit, like you just, you know, you're in it, and it's just that's what you're doing, like, you know.
What was like the triggers for you to start becoming like self-aware?
Yeah, I think it was I experienced like drugs at the time, man, and I was going down a path that I really didn't want to go down, And for me, it was that turning point, man. That brought on for me, in my life. It just turned it upside down, man. I went into my first hospitalization.
All right, we back from the technical difficulties.
Word.
All right, so continue on.
Yeah, man. So I was on one. You know what I mean? So like, I was on one, and next, man, like I had like another half a blunt like in my fingers, bro, and I was like feeling something like smacking me in my face, and I was like, yo, what is that? I thought it was my boy, right? And I woke up, and my boy's like sleeping on the couch, like passed out, like, you know what I mean? And then I look up, and we're in a garage, and on the garage motor there was this like curled up demon that I seen, and like that's the best way that I could describe it. And it was glaring at me, and it pointed to the door, and the door just creaked open like this, and I looked behind me, and I was like, and when I looked back, it was gone, right? So I freaked out, bro. I was like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what was in this weed? That's what, like, I was just like,
so
yeah.
Was it like a dark figure? Did you see what it was?
So
like
it was dark, but you could see the black on the black. You feel me? Like it was dark, but like you can.
Did you see like the face definition at all?
Yeah, you can like see how it was like perked up on a motor, like, and it was chilling, and how it raises. It was like chilling on his knees, and how it raised his arm up like that, right? So I immediately thought like, oh man, like I'm bugging, like, you know what I mean? So I ran upstairs, and I got my boy. I was like, yo man, you need to take me home. I'm bugging out. Like I need to get some sleep. And he was like, yeah, man, I got the bike, and I only got one helmet. Like, I can't take you home. You got to call somebody, man. I was like, oh, man. So when I'm talking to him, the TV from behind me goes, this isn't between you and your boys. It's between you and God. And I was like, oh.
Nah. I would have started tweaking.
Yeah, man. So when that happened, like, I felt the boom of existence come down on me, bro. Like everything that I knew, like the fabric of my reality just changed immediately right there, bro. Like, and I was never a spiritual person, bro. Like I never prayed or anything like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like I was never one to like be praying to God and stuff like that. Like, and like when I was in church, so like when I was doing like the family thing with my dad and stuff, like we were in there, and you know what I mean? I like zoned out like most of the time, and like I was almost like scared of like seeing like the statues and shit like that, like, you know what I mean, like Mother Mary in there.
Yeah,
like, you see Jesus, like, you know what I mean, they got the blood painted on it, like, you know what I mean. I'm like, I was always like a little bit like sketchy.
So did you have like any inclination towards religion at all?
No, man, until like much later, like, you know what I mean. And at the time though, man, like that to me was like they're speaking to me, like why me? Like I started questioning a lot in my life, bro. Like
how old was you around this time?
Oh, bro, it was in 2010, so I was 20. 20 years old.
For some odd reason, yo, I swear, I think like around that age, like people just start like, yo, really questioning.
Yeah.
But at the like same time, they full fledged at their worst.
Yeah.
And they're like, yo, why am I doing this? Yeah, but it's just like, I ain't gonna stop. I'm gonna just do it tomorrow.
For real. So that happened, man, and I was like, there's no one to really call. Like I gotta like confess, like, you know what I mean, at that point. So I called my dad. And I get in the car with my dad, man, and I was like, I took a bunch of drugs, and I drank a lot, I smoked weed, and I'm bugging out. I'm hearing voices, I'm seeing shit, and he was like, all right. He's like, I'm going to take you home. He's like, you need to get away from the people that you're hanging out with. And he never really dealt with mental health. And to him, the best solution was to take me out of that environment. You know what I mean? Because like it was like that was like the number one thing that he thought of. So my mom, she was living in Florida, and he was like, you know, I'm gonna get you a train ticket. He kind of like washed his hands, but it, like, you know what I mean? Like he was kind of like go figure it out. Like, you know what I mean?
So
like,
he wasn't as pressed as you thought he would be when you would tell him, like, you thought he was gonna like what, like flip the hell out.
Nah, because like my dad had his past and whatnot, and like he knew, like, you know what I mean, he knew I wasn't going to go have a sleepover with like a bunch of people. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was like like I was 20 years old, man. I'm gonna go get high. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's what it was. He knew what it was. And and when I was there, man, like I was like, you know, I was in the kitchen and we got home and whatnot, and you know, I was still bugging out, but my dad had opened up the fridge, and for people who don't know, I heard this. I'm not sure if it's like, you know what I mean, a real thing or not, but I've heard that orange juice enhances the roll, so to speak, like the high of ecstasy. Yeah. So when I had that in my system, you know what I mean? But my dad opened up the fridge and he was like, "Oh, you want something to drink?" And he grabs the orange juice. He's like, "You want some OJ?" And he smiles, and his smile went from ear to ear, bro. Like that's
like the Grinch.
Yeah, bro. Like I seen that shit like happen, and I was like, "Nah, I'm good." And I went in my room, and the whole time in my room, I was bugging out, bro. Like I was hearing voices and shit, like real negative shit, like, you know what I mean, like kill yourself and. You're not worth it. Like, you know what I mean? Why are they speaking to you? Like, you know what I
mean? Was that the first instance where that happened?
Yeah, bro. So, like, you got to imagine, like, me, like, being completely oblivious, not religious, like, not, oh, it's, so, you got to imagine, like, me being not religious, you know what I mean, totally oblivious to that, and like experiencing that biblical moment, like for me, was insane. Like it was just insane, and I didn't get no sleep that night. I woke up the next. Well, I just appeared in the kitchen. My dad was like, "You know, we got your tickets," and I had to say bye to my little brothers, man, and like that to me, like they don't know what's going on, like, you know what I mean, and like. You know, my younger brother, Andrew, was crying and whatnot. And, you know, it was kind of like awkward, you know, at the train station. Like my dad, my stepmom, my two half brothers, you know what I mean, from my dad and my stepmom, is out there like seeing me off. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't know when I'm going to come back. Like, you know what I mean?
Was it like a lot of mixed emotions in that moment?
Yeah, bro. Cause like I was more like scared to like, with like, my mind, bro. Like I was more like, yo, where am I going in life right now? Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't know if I'm going insane, like what's going on. Like, you know, I'm still seeing shit, I'm still hearing voices, like the whole, bro, like mind you, like I skipped to the train station, but getting the tickets like at the train station, like showing them that we got it, getting like to the whole thing, like people passing by, side conversations, like all that, dude, anxiety to the max. Like me hearing voices through people's conversation. And like when I say that, like part of my psychosis was like the auditory and visual hallucinations. But
so what's like, that for people who wouldn't know?
So like the visual stuff, like you actually see stuff that's not there. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's like, you know, you see stuff that's not there, or like stuff that is there, you try and like change it and like give it new meaning in your own eyes, like, you know what I mean? So like, it's like I see different shit and different things. But the auditorial stuff, man, like that was like, to me, was the worst, man, because like it would be like a lot of negative shit at once. And when you can be like the most stable person, man, but when you hear like kill yourself, you're a piece of shit, like all day long, man, like it's like exhausting, you know,
especially if it's not even like as crazy as it sounds from an outside source and it's coming from within. That could really, like, you know what I mean, do a number on your mental.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I think the part that bothered me the most was like how much it wore on you, you know what I mean, because it was like all day long. And at first you'd be like, you know what I mean, like, okay, so fuck you, like, you know what I mean, you'd be talking shit, you know what I mean, to it, and like it's like almost like you're on top of it and you try to be on top of it, but like it would always find a way to get like your worst, deep, darkest stuff, like, you know what I mean, and bring it up for you.
Was it certain things that did you notice that like triggered it?
Yeah, like it was like stressful situations. If I was anxious and stuff like that, I would always feel it coming on, like, you know what I mean, and I would experience it from time to time. But at that moment when I was full blown into that, like those psychotic symptoms, those auditory and visual hallucinations, bro, I gotta tell you, like my senses were like on point. Like it was like the most like aware that I've ever been in my life. Like,
Well, it was like you was like hyperly focused.
yeah, bro. Like I could hear like people like snap their fingers like all the way like down the train. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was like to that point, and like, you know, no exaggeration. Like it was really like that. I could hear like the train screeching, everything. Like, mind you, trains are loud and stuff, but dude, I can hear somebody talking about Becky. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, like,
Oh my God.
yeah, yeah.
Becky.
Look at my bad. Sorry, I didn't mean to listen to you. Like, you know what I mean? 6 chairs down, but like I was doing it. Like, you know what I mean? And like at first I was like, yo, and like for me, bro, like how I was like how I brought up and stuff like that. Like I thought I was chosen.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And that to me was the worst part of it all, bro, because like when I found out I wasn't and I was just sick, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
that to me was like it crushed me, bro. Like it really did crush me. But anyway, so I get to Florida, bro. It was hell on earth on the whole train ride there. It was 24 hours, bro, that it took me to get there. Bugging out the whole entire time.
Bugging out how? Like you inside your own head?
Yeah, bro. Like seeing like demons and like bats and shit like in the windows of the trains, hearing people like the devil basically, like of my own understanding, talk through people and like talk shit to me personally, just me.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And like saying that like he wants my soul basically, like you're not gonna make it out of this kind of thing. Like it was like I've seen this all before, like, you know what I mean? Like I've seen the end of this. Like it's like you're mine kind of thing.
Did that give you like a defeated kind of like mindset?
So it sparked me at first. I was like, oh, you want to brawl? Like because I was always that type of person. Like, you know what I mean? Like I was always like, if someone told me that I couldn't do it, like I was gonna go get it. You know what I mean? And I was always that type of person. So like when I was hearing it at first, I'm not gonna lie, I was talking mad shit. I was talking hella shit. Like, you know what I mean? There would be times where it would be me on the lawn, like sparring, just by myself because I thought demons were watching me. Like, yeah, come and get it. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm the baddest human you ever gonna face. Like kind of thing. Like, you know what I mean? And and I would do that, bro, because it would make me feel more confident. It would make me feel like that I could get through like this, like, you know, time in my life. But so, you know, I get to Florida and my mom sees me, and my mom was very religious, you know. So she's like, you need the Bible, which was probably the worst thing that you could ever give me at the time of psychosis, bro. Because like I took the Bible and I read it from front to back, bro. Like, and I made my own meaning out of it. Like,
you read the whole entire
yes,
Bible,
dude,
for real?
Yeah, it was one of those pocket Bibles, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like the pocket, like first.
Yeah, it's like
yeah, like it was the small ones. Like they basically like summarize all the shit, but like they got like, you know, the different passages and stuff like that. Like you can look them up and stuff. And they actually that pocket Bible was like, my mom still got us all this stuff, but I've been trying to get it from her, but she's nervous to give it to me because she thinks that, you know, I'm gonna experience like that again. But yeah, you could like look up like, oh, if you're scared, or like, you know, if you're experiencing fear, if you're experiencing
and they got the scriptures and the passages that you could go to,
and you like scan through. Yeah, so I read one of those front to back, bro, and like it made me feel like I was chosen from God, like by God, to like handle whatever I was gonna handle, and I was waiting for my mission. And that's where my mind was, man. Like, that's where my mind was. And I took up this book, and it was the book of Ezekiel. And I took it.
That's an interesting book in the Bible.
Yeah, man. I took this book, and I rewrote it for modern times. And, bro, I'm talking, like, front to back. And me saying that, bro, like, I'm not, like... I'm more street smart than I am book smart, bro. But like when it comes to writing and stuff like that, like I can write poetry and stuff, but spelling and grammar, you know what I mean? Like I don't do that well, bro. Like you didn't
spell edumacation,
yeah, edumacation, like edumacation. But like that was me, man. Like that was me, like, you know. And I was asking for help,
yeah,
from like these voices, and they helped me. They made me go through this whole paper, and they helped me write this paper, bro. Like, voices helped me write a paper, bro.
So
That's like,
so the voices, did the voice pretty much start off the whole process for you writing the paper to begin with, to start rewriting
so
Ezekiel?
I'm gonna get to it, bro. So I'm gonna get to it. So like, there was times where it was negative, and there was times where it was positive. So it was like that, bro. It was like that, and that really affected me, bro. It really affected me. So I wrote this book. My mom looks at it. She's like, "You need more help than I thought." You know what I mean? So I took that as like, you're not believing me. Like, you don't believe me, and that was like, to me, that was crushing. Like, you know what I mean? This is my mom. Like, she thinks I'm fucking crazy. Like, and this is real to me. Like, this is like, I'm experiencing this. And she's like, you know, get some sleep. You've been up all night. Like, get some sleep. So I try to go to sleep. And this time, she had like this angel nightlight that was like plugged in the wall. And this nightlight was shining on the ground. It on the wall, it looked like an angel. You know what I mean? But it turned and it pointed. And when it pointed, I looked to where it was pointing. There was this dark mass in my face. And I was like scared, man. I remember being like, what the fuck? Like, what? Like, it's about to like take me right now. Like, you know what I mean? And I hear like a telepathic voice, and it was like, you know, tell it that you're not afraid of it. And like, my first thought was, but I am. Like,
Oh my
yeah.
God.
So I was like, but I am. But then it was just like, trust it. And it was just like, you know, are you afraid? And then I was like, when it told me that, like, I was like, oh hell, like you mean, nah, I'm not.
I'm not afraid.
Yeah. So like, I looked at it like right in the face, bro, and I was like, I don't fear you, and it vanished, dude, like away from my face. So that to me was like a huge confidence booster. Like, you know what I mean? I was like, maybe like I can make it out of this, like, you know. And I woke up, and everything was like, it seemed like it was okay, bro. Like, you know, I wasn't hearing no voices and stuff, and like, it was like the calm before the storm, bro. Because I gotta tell you, man.
This was the calm before the storm?
Yes. So, like, my mom comes in the room, and she's like, you know, I read this over, and she's like, you know, I don't know what you're going through. I'm trying to help you. I don't know how to help you. And when she said that, like, I felt like my whole world was crushed, bro. Like,
it was like a hopeless feeling?
Yeah, like, who's going to help me, bro? Like, who's going to help me? You know, so I'm, like, asking in my head, like, if you're there, like, show me what I have to do. Like, I'm lost. Like, I'm fucking lost. Like, you know, I'm trying to be a good person. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm lost. And when I said that, bro, like, it was just like, my whole world just crushed, bro. And I just started beating on the desk. I was doing like this, like, just beating, like, just making a beat, like, you know what I mean? Because, like, music is how I, like, got out a lot of my frustrations and stuff like that when I was, like, growing up and stuff. But I started beating on the desk, and my mom tried to stop me. And when she tried to stop me, I pinned her up against the wall, and I slammed her on the wall. But then when I realized that I did that, because I thought, like, bro, I, like, threw her, like, almost, like, on the wall, like, and when I realized that I did that, I was like, oh, shit, like, you know what I mean? Like, I need to stop. And, like, I came to, and when I came to, bro, like, the veil was pulled from my eyes. I was like, I need help. Like, you know what I mean? I need help. I broke down, bro, right there. I just dropped to my knees and broke down. My mom called the cops. Cops came and got me, put me in the ambulance. They took me to the hospital. I thought that when I got to the hospital, I thought the devil was going to take my soul. Because, like, at this point, I was so heightened and I was so, like, scared that I was like, this is not where I need to be. And I heard his voice and it was just like, you need to run. Like, you need to run. And meanwhile, while all that stuff was happening, they had me in, you know, the hospital. My dad came from Jersey to Florida to come see me. And he's in the hospital room with me. While I heard that voice, like, yo, you need to run, I ripped out the IV out of my arm. And my dad was like, where are you going? And he, like, grabbed my arm and, like, shook him off. And I ran down the hall. And I just jumped down, like, these the exit. Like, I just hit the emergency exit, and I started jumping down flights of stairs. And bro, at that time, I was, like, athletic, like, you know what I mean? So, like, they weren't catching me. Like, I gained some pounds nowadays, but, like, back in the day, bro, like, I was quick. You know what I mean? So you got me running in a gurney, like, ass out, like, across the lawn in Florida, bro. Like, And
I'm not even gonna lie. That wouldn't be the craziest thing you've seen in Florida.
For real.
Got the alligator man
Bro, I
out
was
there
in
in
the
Florida.
paper. Yeah, I was in the paper and everything, bro. Yeah, I was a Florida man.
Yeah, you might be a Florida native at heart.
Yeah.
Man.
So that happened, bro. And when I got to the woods, like I was listening to this voice and it was telling me everything to do out there, bro. And I'm not like I can survive on my own, but like I don't know how to make sandals out of bark and like you know what I mean, like. But I did. but I did. I listened and I did, bro. And I came out these woods, bro. Like I went in naked and I came out these woods like I survived the whole week, and I was only out there for 5 hours, right? And I listened to this voice and it told me exactly what to do, and it was like, trust in me and you'll be fine. Like, you know what I mean? That's what it was telling me. And that time in the woods, like it was testing my character. It was testing my heart, because like there was like these fields of like thorns, bro, like just thorn bushes, bro, and I had to run through these shits like to test my character. Like that was my test, like, you know what I mean, see how far I would go, you know. And like in my mind, that's what was happening, you know what I mean.
And you ran through this thorn
bro,
bush.
like I was jumping through these things, running, sprinting through them, dog, like just bucking through these thorn bushes. When I came out, like my whole entire body was just like scraped up.
You probably was smelling like poison ivy.
For real. But I get out at the time, like, so I was in the woods for 5 hours, and my dad was out there, and like he was searching for me with like a couple police officers and like a couple people from the hospital that like agreed to search for me. And when I went into the woods, like, you know, there was no one around. When I got out of the woods, I hit my dad's chest. As soon as I came out of the woods, dude, like I just hit my dad's chest. And I was talking to him. I was like, "You gotta believe me now." He's like, "I believe you. Just stay here." Like, you know what I mean? He was just trying to get me to stay there. And the cops came and got me. And I seen the cops. I tried to run real quick, and they were like, "We're going to tase you." I was like, "All right." And I just dropped to the ground, like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, all right, I give up. Like, I mean,
yeah,
you got me, like, you know. And like I thought I failed, bro. Like I thought I failed. Like, I don't know, that there was some like test in my head that I had to like take. And they got me back, and like that's when they tied me down to the bed, bro. And like I was literally like shackled down to the bed, like sheets over my body, like strapped down, bro. And yeah, like I fought like the entire hospital staff that was like, I had one-on-ones, because like I was just like reckless, bro, like, you know. And I thought that I had to fight them to get out. Like I didn't know that they were really trying to help me.
So you were pretty much consumed with what was going on and whatever was speaking to you.
Yeah, exactly.
And just like convinced, like, this is the only way that I'm gonna get out of this, by listening to the voice.
Yes. So when this happened, they were trying to feed me meds. You know what I mean? This whole entire time that I was in the hospital. And when I got out of the hospital, I went into inpatient. And I wasn't agreeing to take the meds still, but later I did. And they diagnosed me with schizoaffective bipolar type. And they said that the onset of drugs could have brought about the psychotic symptoms that I was experiencing. And the bipolar type was like my mood disorder. But the schizoaffective part was what I was experiencing.
So that combination made it...
So that combination of drugs, what I did, whatever I took that day, like it brought it on. And that's what they were saying, you know, it could have been drug induced. So when they told me that, I didn't want to believe it, man. Like I was like, nah, like I'm special. Like, you know, I'm special. You know what I mean? I'm special.
I feel you, bro.
Yeah, bro. So like when that happened, bro, like that was like soul crushing, man. Like I realized that I was like, shit, like I got a mental illness, bro. Like, you know, so I had to take care of it.
So it was just one of those things where you was kind of in denial of what the situation actually was.
Yeah. But the last boom, bro, of like my that time when I was in that inpatient, this old lady came up to me, dog, and she grabbed my hands, bro. Like, cause like I asked her for a cigarette, like, you know what I mean? I was like, hey, can I bum a cigarette off you? Cause we were having smoke break and shit. And she grabbed my hands, bro, grabbed my wrist, and she looked at me and she was just like, I'm the devil talking to you right now. And she was like, what if all this time, I was just bringing you up to bring you back down? That you were on this big roller coaster of emotions. And I was the voice that was telling you that I loved you. And I was the voice telling you that I would hate you. And she left. And when she told me that, bro, I was like,
I would be terrified.
yeah,
yo.
bro, like my whole dog. It was a lot, bro. It was a lot to deal with. Like, it still shakes me up, bro. Like, it still shakes me up.
I didn't experience it,
Yeah.
but I'm shaking up right now.
Yeah, bro. So
Yo, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I'll be hella disturbed.
yeah, man. So like, I mean, I still experience like certain things that like are like a little bit different for me and stuff. But like, you know, I'm on meds, bro. I take meds every day, you know, for the shit that I go through, and I experience depression. You know, I get real fucking sad. Like, you know what I mean? There's times where I get real depressed, and there's times where I'm up. You know what I mean? And like nothing can touch me. And that's just like what I've been experiencing with it. It's been a huge like turning point in my life. And like, to be honest, if I wasn't aware of it, I probably wouldn't have met her. Like, I probably wouldn't have met some of the people that I've you know, that I've met in my life. And like, people like I met some people that really helped me out. Like, you know what I mean? When I was going through real tough times, bro. Like, I thought of suicide and stuff like that, bro. When you're hearing that shit, bro, like that's nothing. Like, I don't wish that on my worst enemy. And that's like, word is life, like dead ass. And when I was experiencing that, like, I wanted to kill myself, bro. Like, I wanted to make it stop. I wanted to, you know what I mean, end it and stuff like that. And I would experience that. And when I was depressed and stuff, I wanted to end my life, and I wanted to live at the same time. I wanted both things, you know. And it took a long time for me to realize that I was sick at the time, and I needed to do work to get better. Like, that's the thing. Like, I was waiting for somebody to come help come fix my situation and help me. You know what I mean? Because I was so desperate at the time. And I think the one thing that I learned through everything that I've been through was I had to make the changes in myself. I had to make the changes in my behavior. I had to make the changes, what I was doing, what I was, just from everything. I had to make a complete 360, you know.
So, I would love to ask you this.
Yeah.
If you had to sit down right now, right, and talk to like your 21-year-old self, what would be like the first couple things that you would say?
First thing, I just warm it up real quick. Nice cup, fam.
I like your
Yeah.
I like your cut.
I like your cup, fam. But nah, I would just be like, this is honestly what I would say. 20-year-old me, this is honestly what I would say.
Full-fledged savage.
Buck
you.
up, buddy. Buck up. It's
bucko.
gonna be a crazy ride, bucko. Because my 20-year-old self would have not listened to me right now. Hell no. I would have looked at me and been like, shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're saying. That's all I would have said. Yeah, that's all I would have said. I was like, buck up, bucko.
You're not me in the future. I don't gotta listen to you.
Yeah.
How do you know?
You gonna hit this blunt? Like, come on, man.
Come
Like,
on, y'all. You already know. You already
Yeah.
know the vibes.
So I think that for me, like, bro, like, that went on from 2010 till present, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that whole mental health breakdown and stuff, and like the ups and the downs and stuff. And it was a lot, bro. It was a lot.
For anybody that's going through the same situation that you're in, what would you tell them?
I would say, hold on to hope. It's been my password for, like, all right, keep that on the wraps, y'all. It's been my password, but like, it's hope. Cause I really like this acronym somebody made up. I don't know who did, but it was like, hold on, pain ends. And when I heard that, it was like, it was great. But throughout all of this, I guess, like, I never really lost hope, cause I always was expecting myself to get out of it. You know what I mean? And to be honest, man, like, people that went through what I went through didn't make it out of those symptoms, bro. Like, they are still in the hospital, like, experiencing psychotic symptoms. Like, that's real. That's real. Like, you know what I mean? And every time that you go through a psychotic symptom, it changes your brain, you know?
Chemically.
Like, oh yeah, for facts, bro. Like, it really does. It damages your brain. And to make it out as many times as I did, bro, like, you know what I mean? Because, like, that like origin story right there, bro, there's been mad stories that, like, I can share for you later times. But I think if someone's going through this, just hold on, and I hope that like you receive like help, and that if you really do come to, that you get your shit together. That's all I gotta say, because like you need to do the work. And I still struggle with it today. I haven't figured it out. I haven't made it out of it. You know what I mean? Yeah, like it's a daily struggle. Like, bro, when you broke down that goal sheet and you was like, and you looked at it, you was like, take meds. You was like, do you struggle with this? I was like, hell yeah. Like, I struggle with taking my meds.
It was on a daily.
Yeah, bro. Like, so, like, you know what I mean? So, like, that to me, like, you know, I still struggle daily. Like, I'm hopeful that maybe one time I'll get a good spur. Like, you know what I mean? Like, a good, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Here I am.
Happy, get it every day.
You know what I mean? And then I'll make it as far as I can and then be like, bitch, look what I did.
Yo, I wish the camera was still on right now, man. Oh, man, for those of you listening, man, if y'all just would have seen this man's body, it's something else. Have you ever seen somebody that got out of a freezing cold pool into some 45-degree weather? When he was making that sound effects, that's what his body was doing. It was that joint was shaking, yo.
Yeah.
But like with that being said,
yeah,
in regards to that, it's very, very, very difficult, I know, to like maintain that a mind state where it's just like not destructive. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, bro. Because I switched like a lot, man. Like, you know, I changed to where it's just like it's in my relationship. It's in my friendships and stuff like that. Like I'll switch quick, man. Like, and it's not because of what anybody's doing. It's just because of what I've been experiencing, and like certain things will come into my brain, or like I'll experience something from like, you know what I mean, psychosis, and I can't really like, you know what I mean, like you don't bring that up, dog. Like, you know, and like because there is stigma attached to mental health. Yo, I thought I got shot. I thought that was my origin story. I was about to drop the mic and be like,
oh snap! I'm looking out the side like, what in the world?
They got me, Daryl. They got me.
Didn't know.
Yeah.
Didn't know.
Yeah. He's lived such a crazy life. Nah. But yeah, I mean, shit. That's just how it is, man. It's a daily struggle, but right now I'm on top of it. You know what I mean? Right now I'm on top of it.
Man, I know you're going to do your thing.
Yeah.
And another thing that a really big reason why I even had you on the podcast is just from your story in general.
Yeah.
And due to how much you have experienced in your life. You know what I mean? I know it's bits and pieces that people are going to hear your story and it's going to really, really resonate with them. You know what I mean? Because this is stuff that people feel uncomfortable to talk about, even though they're going through it. You know what I mean? And it takes a lot of courage to even do what you're doing right now. You know what I mean? I can't even lie to you.
Yeah.
You know, but hopefully for those of you who are hearing this and just hearing Dan's story as well, that, you know, you be honest with the situation that you in and you're not alone. You know what I mean? And that anything that's going on in your head, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a fact or it's true. You know what I mean? And he's sitting right here in front of me, you know, being a living testimony of that, you know. And it's a never-ending journey as well. You're not really going to know, you know, the answers until you get down to the finish line. But at the end of the day, it's just about always accepting the challenge and just being a higher version of yourself when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I think that like what we talked about earlier too, is about experiencing those moments of joy, because life isn't going to be 100% sadness. Life isn't going to be 100% happiness, but it's those moments of joy that you experience throughout the day. And that's what really I latched on to, man, when I was going through it. So, you know, for those of you listening, I hope you do too.
So with how do you cope with things now, and how do you handle when, you know, you get them attacks and stuff like that?
Music, video games, art, not so much art anymore. Yo, she bought me this art tablet, man. She went ham with it. It was one of those things that I started and didn't finish. You feel me? She's like, God damn.
Oh, so you you went in your Professor Calamitous bag.
Yeah, exactly. But as much as I can, man. I guess like right now, I like eating. You know what I mean? Cheesesteaks, Coca-Cola.
You gotta have your chips and the dip.
Yeah, the chips and the dip.
You know what I'm saying? The fries.
But hopefully soon, yeah. Hopefully soon I can flip that. You know what I mean? Start working out and stuff. Get back to the things that I used to do. You know, like martial arts and all that stuff, like what we started with. But yeah, that's it, man.
Yo, man, I appreciate you coming on the show, man. For real, man.
Always a pleasure, man.
Yo, man, for those that's listening, y'all follow y'all purpose, man. Serve your purpose. Yes. Dan for sure is doing his. I love y'all. Y'all have a good one. Let's go. Let's go, man. Dog, I appreciate it, bro. For real. That's freaking amazing, dog.
Thank you, man.
Dang.
Yeah, bro.